Good morning, Assalamualaikum. So the topic today is testing. We are going to test our product before we publish it to the official store, which is Google Play Store or Apple Store. If you have a look at the slide that I have shared in the VO1 group, okay, you can open it. That's not the only material that I'm going to cover. Some are in websites. Okay, so we'll start by looking at the slide first, then we are going to explore some of the testing tool. While I'm doing the lecture, if you haven't installed the software that I have suggested, please do so. So I have suggested that you install this one. This one is for FOM students. So instead of using Unity, you'll be doing AR using a software called Effect House. So while I'm doing the lecture, you can do this installation in the background. Okay, let's have a look at the slide. Mobile app testing. So we are going to explore some of the interesting topic in mobile app testing. What is mobile app testing? We have these three elements. The definition is as simple as we want to evaluate the mobile app that we have produced as a developer. Or from a user point of view, you want to make sure that the whole experience of using the app fulfills several criteria. What are the criteria? Okay, usually we look at this aspect: functionality, usability, performance, and several other key features that your app should have. These are the goals of testing. Okay, so as a tester can be a software, a tester can be person. So you can do the testing manually, or you can automate the testing process using a software or online tool. So the key goals here is to identify bugs or problem. Next, we want to ensure the quality of the app. Good quality app should satisfy these criteria: functionality, usability, performance. And then we want to make sure that the user are having a good overall UX, user experience. Yeah. So last week we have talked about usability. Usability is one of the key topics or key element under UI and UX. Okay, the importance of testing. I'm not doing the full screen presentation, so sorry if my slide is small on your screen. You can open the slide using the file that I've given. Okay, so why is it matter? So we want to ensure user satisfaction, boost brand reputation, because usually a brand have their own, most brand have their own website, or popular brand, if they have extra budget, they can produce or publish an app. Okay, next, your app supposed to help your business. In other words, it should gain some either profit or benefit for your businesses. Okay, next, why mobile app testing are crucial? Because most users now are exploring the content using mobile instead of desktop. So last time maybe we can say desktop is the main device used by the user to explore your content, but nowadays most users have handphone, and it is likely that mobile traffic is the main source of your web traffic. Okay, as a content provider, We provide content online as a company. Okay, your mobile traffic should be high than let's say 10 years ago. Okay, uh, although you have website, you have mobile apps, you have mobile version of your website. Okay, we can see that all of it are equally important, but in this topic, we focus on mobile app testing. So if you learn web design, we have web design testing. So here we have mobile app testing. It's mentioned in some article that most user will abandon. Abandon means it is likely they will not use your app anymore, or worst case is they will remove or uninstall the app. Okay, 80% will abandon the app if the app crash 3 or more times. Okay, another big reason why we want to test our app is because the app market is very competitive. There are too many apps nowadays. You name it, you search it, you'll get a search result in Play Store or in your Apple Store. Okay, there are almost app for everything. You look for it, you'll find it. Okay, next, let's have a look at the key uh, categories of apps. We have learned this in the planning stage. When you plan your app, you have to decide what are the app that you want to produce. So there are categories of app called native app, okay, and then we have web app, then we have hybrid app. The most popular of all is of course native app because of performance. It is faster than web apps or hybrid apps, and it has more control on the sensors on your phone, camera, and then your gyroscope, your other sensors, lidar, or your any types of sensor available in your phone. Okay, and then the core concept in mobile app testing. When you want to test, usually the test comes after the development cycle. Yeah. So if you recall, we have planning, and then we have prototyping, then we have development, then we have testing. So testing is somewhere before you publish your app. In the testing phase, you have to plan again. So before you develop an app, you have the planning stage. But during the testing phase, the testing process involves a plan as well. So we have a plan for the test. So before you conduct a test, you have to plan what are the items, criteria, what are the objective. Okay, okay, those are uh, we included in the plan of the test. And then we have test cases. Okay, for business student, probably you have a lot of case study. For M student, we have business case studies. So here the same, we have test cases. Test cases for you to consider as a developer. You have different scenario. Okay, the scenario might be either the network condition. The scenario might be what the user want to achieve. Sorry, the network condition is somewhere here. Okay, test environment. So the test environment is setting the condition of the hardware, the software, and network status for the test. Okay, so hardware, we have challenges because now mobile devices can be not only handphone, it might be a tablet, it might be smart watches, it might be smart glasses. Okay, so it's getting more challenging because we are not limited to handphones only. We have variation in terms of devices itself. Last time the variation is only OS, Android, iOS, and maybe non-popular operating system like Windows OS and some even unknown operating system like open sources. Okay, next. As I mentioned earlier, we have two mode of testing. Either you do it manually. Manually means a person have to tap all the button, test all the stages, and explore all the scene or uh, all the pages. An easier way is we do it automatically or automated testing. Use a software, a script, or online tool. So instead of a person navigating the app, we have a software navigating the app, testing all the possible scenario and condition. Or most of the time, we as a developer have to try both method, manual and also automated. So we combine both and we call it as hybrid approach. Okay, other than categorizing it either manual or automated testing, we can also categorize your tests based on other way of categorizing. Okay, for example, here we have categorize it based on unit testing, integration testing, or system testing. Okay, so for example, here we have a shopping mobile app or mobile commerce app. Okay, so you have to test the unit testing, integrated testing, and system testing. So unit testing, you test individual component. The component might be the shopping cart. The component might be the listing of the product. Okay, so that is the unit testing. Okay, we can define unit testing as page or scene in your prototype. Okay, pages. If you have prototyping, you have pages. If you have a production mobile app already ready for market or ready for publish, then the unit testing might be focusing on the homepage, okay, and then the shopping cart page. Okay. Integration test interaction between different module or service. From the listing of the product, does it transfer to the shopping cart? So after the shopping cart, does it transfer to the payment? Okay, so that is integration. You test from one page, does the data or the input given by the user are processed correctly from one stages until the final stages. The final stage might be checkout and get the payment verification. Okay, system testing overall, the entire system. So you need maybe multi-user testing the server at the same time. We call it as load test. Let's say we have 100 user test the mobile commerce system at the same time. Okay, we are testing the overall performance of the system, including the server. Popular testing method, okay, depends on what you want to test. We can test on UI, we can test on UX, we can also test on navigation. Some say that navigation is actually under UX. Okay, UX. Some say navigation is under a separate category. Okay, so here we can test user interface and then user experience or navigation, or there are other criteria that are not listed here. So these are another way of how we categorize the testing for mobile app. Popular testing method. Okay, the most popular one, we can get the list after this, but one of it is A/B testing. We call it as A/B testing. We don't say A/B. A/B testing is enough, yeah. So A/B testing, usually we have a minimal of two group, A and B. Two group of user. Okay, usually group A have certain criteria, group B have certain criteria. Or A and B if is a variation, different setting of the software. Okay, A might be um, iOS. B might be Android. Or A and B are as simple as variation in terms of color. A have red interface, mostly are red color. B have mostly bluish color. Okay, so A and B can be set up according to a lot of variable. Yeah, so usually we set what are the variable A, what is the variable B, or if you want to have a third group, also fine. But usually we test two. That's why we call it as A/B testing. What we want to analyze, usually you analyze, okay, this one, conversion rate, click-through rate, engagement rate, and many others. These are some of the metrics that we have come across in the previous lecture. Mobile analytic, we have come across a lot of analytic. So usually, most of the analytic, we want to increase it, except a few negative analytic like abandonment rate. People are abandoning our app. So we want to reduce abandonment rate. Okay, so if you're not sure what is abandonment rate, you can quickly Google it. Okay, next we have this objective. We want to optimize the app. Optimize can be optimized in terms of performance, in terms of design, in terms of resources being used. Okay, resources might be battery, RAM, CPU. Okay, those are optimizing. We want it not to be too heavy, not too light. Just the right size, right capability, or right weight. Okay, just the ideal. Okay, we want to optimize. Okay, so here are some A/B example. You can change the color. You can change the call to action button. What are call to action? Usually buttons like my mouse is not responding. Okay, call to action is the button or the main keyword in the banner or your advertisement. If you are running a marketing campaign, usually there's a punchline in the end and there's a button of action or link of action. Okay, so the link should be something which can captivate the user attention and intuition. Okay, so they should click when they saw the button. Okay, the button should be catchy. That's why we need to do some testing. If you put the button as shop now, is it better than uh, buy now? Or if you put in other language, is it better? Or if you put book book now, or is it some other keyword? Look at the differences. A, you put shop now. B, you put maybe uh, uh, hurry up. Okay, so you test based on 100 respondent, see how many click if it's button A, how many clicks if it's button B. Okay, next we can test in terms of differences in layout. Let's say you decide A, design the navigation at the top. B, design the navigation at the bottom. Okay, see whether the user have a better overall experience or not based on the layout of the navigation button. Okay, so that's about the slide. Not too many. Only a few slides, so I'm done in 20 minutes. Okay, a better approach is we follow the guide given by Apple and Android. Okay, so if you are Apple developer, unfortunately, most of our exercise are focusing on Android. Okay, your testing should be guided by the official documentation by Apple. Okay, let me put the link. Documentation by Apple and documentation by Android. So we have a look at the documentation by Apple developer. Okay, so here is the official guide for Xcode testing. Unfortunately, most of us are using Windows, so we can't run Xcode. For Google, we have this. Right, so let me suggest to you that we follow the official guide by Android and Apple. Okay, so let's have a look at Apple. Usually I go for Android first, but today, okay, we look at Apple guide. For you to develop an iOS app, you need Xcode. Xcode only runs on Mac. So that's the problem, a big problem. So next week we'll be discussing one of the problem. The problem is developing iOS using Windows. Okay, that's the problem. The problem is this class is it possible for us to develop iOS using Windows? Okay, so you'll get a suggestion from AIO view. Probably this one is Gemini because I'm searching in Google. So one of the problem is you cannot directly develop iOS on Windows because of the requirement we need Xcode. Xcode only run on Mac operating system. Okay, so if you are going to develop an iOS app, native app, okay, you have to run Mac OS. If you don't have a Mac machine, you can actually install Mac OS virtually on Windows. So your Windows running Mac. Uh, okay, but it's not 100% viable, and sometimes it has some problems. Certain function that doesn't run correctly. So if you have good PC with powerful RAM and powerful CPU, you can try VMware. VMware allows your Windows to install another OS so that you can experiment with other OS. So this one is common among IT majoring student. If you are FOM, probably you are not going to do this VirtualBox or VMware. Okay, so if you search for VMware, so what is VMware? Okay, so VMware. Okay. Uh, all right. So VMware now, it's a free. I haven't tested the latest. Okay. So if you have VMware, you can install it on your Windows, and after you install, you can choose. You can download another operating system installer and install, let's say, Unix, Linux, or Mac OS in your Windows. Okay, then you can test certain software that run only, for example, run only on Mac in your Windows via VMware. VMware must run the Mac operating system. Okay, so that's one of the method. Another one is you can subscribe to this cloud-based devices. Okay, this supposed to be a way where you can connect to another Mac machine online. Okay, it could be a real Mac machine or virtual Mac machine. Okay, so this is the problem. Xcode is not directly available on Windows, so that's why we have problem to develop. Okay, so back to our real topic. Our real topic is testing. Okay, so these are the guide given by Apple. Okay, so you test um, as listed here, same as in our slide. We have UI test, integration test, and unit test. Okay, under the test, you have some recommendation. For example, we are not going through all the document, but let's have a look at interesting topic here, like location testing, simulating location in test. Okay, so you can simulate your location. Let's say this app only work on certain region. It only work on Europe. So you don't have to go to Europe to test the app if you are developing it in Malaysia. You can simulate your location. Okay, so here under Xcode, you can simulate your location. Okay, so you don't have to travel all the way to that particular location. Just simulate the coordinate and your phone will believe that you are at that location. Or here we use Xcode. So here, for example, the code will implement the location at certain latitude and longitude. So here, latitude, longitude. So if you recall in your Google Map or in your geography subject, we can describe the location of any part of the world based on latitude and longitude. So here, you don't have to place the device at the particular location. You can change the latitude and longitude to simulate the location. Okay, so these are all the documentation recommendation by Apple developer. The most common way to test for Apple developer, okay, we use the test flight, yeah, test flight. If I provided the link for this, let me just add this another link. Test flight. Beta testing made simple with test flight. If you are an official Apple developer account holder, how to register? Okay, that one is under publish. You publish to Apple. Okay, so if you want to publish to Apple Store, which is the next topic actually, but uh, just for information. Okay, so you need to register and pay the fee for every time you want to publish an app, you need to pay a fee. Okay, so example, here I search for publishing your app, I get this. So I go to iOS submission, submit your app iOS to Apple Play Store. Okay, the requirement is you should test. The recommendation is use as code and then test your app. Okay, so under testing, this is another document, test your app. Okay, so make sure one of it is it say all screen support. So it should run correctly on small screen, large screen. Okay, and it have some human interface guideline. I think we have covered this document before. It's the same guide. Okay, this one we have come across this in the previous topic, usability. Okay, so one of the subtopic is usability under human interface guideline, HIG. This one we covered last week. Okay, required device capability. Right, so if you look at this topic, the device capabilities are listed here. Just go through, yeah. So for Apple Vision Pro, what are the capability listed? It have accelerometer. It have no, it doesn't have. Only the tick is the ones available for Apple Vision Pro. Okay, it have AR kit for augmented reality. Okay, then the processor is ARM V7. Then it doesn't have an autofocus camera. It have Bluetooth, have game key, okay, and many other tick. Okay, then for Apple TV, what are the tick? The processor ARM64. Okay, then it have game kit, doesn't have camera. Okay, and then you look at the list. So these are the list of capability of devices. So if you are developing for iPhone, okay, surprisingly, iPhone have more capabilities compared to the previous devices. So if you look at the previous devices, if I'm scrolling too fast, let me give the link. Sometimes I go to the link, but the audience not sure what I'm navigating. Okay, so let me just add another link. So I'm at the Apple submission. Okay, so let's have a look at the submission requirement. Yeah? So we are in the submission requirement. So under the submission requirement, one of it is we can go through all the suggested features here. Submit your iOS. So if you look at the this one, required device capability. Okay, so if you want to publish for Apple Store, okay, you have to be aware of the capabilities of the devices. Yeah, so some device have more capabilities than the others. If you look at iPhone, it is having a lot of capabilities or features compared to others. So it has several versions of iPhone here. So you scroll down, iPhone 14, iPhone 15, iPhone 13. Scroll down, other than iPhone, it also have iPad. So if you scroll down further, it will list iPad capabilities. Scroll down further, it have maybe where is it? Down. iPod and other devices. So the last one is iPod. Where's the watch? Let me just search watch. Well, the watch capabilities is not listed in this document. Okay, never mind. So back to our submission process. So one of the requirement is you have to use the test flight. So that's part of the submission requirement. After you look at the device capability, we have to use the test flight. And then your app will be under review. So you've done the test. And then if it's approved, it will be listed in the Apple Store. Okay, next, we go back to the test flight. So test flight will allow you to monitor how many testers are invited, how many accepted the test and do the test, and then how many didn't meet the criteria or didn't accept, and so on. Okay, so here the total tester is how many, and then result. Okay, so you can see the full here, tester status session. Okay, crashes. It will report important analytic. So one of the interesting analytic is how many time it crash. We want to reduce the crash rate. Okay, let's have a look at the video here. Video is quite long, but if you have free time, watch this. 23 minutes plus, near to 24.
Welcome to Get Started with Test Flight.
Okay, so if you
Open
look,
Xcode and create an archive of our app in order to prepare it for distribution.
okay, so this is a demo of Xcode. Xcode looks like Android Studio. So you have the virtual device and you have the code view. You can edit the code and get the result and test certain condition. Okay, so Xcode is like Android Studio. Then okay, here you can upload.
An external tester is
Okay,
any
and
tester
then
outside.
you can assign tester, internal tester, external tester, and other type of tester. Okay, so then you invite them to test your app. And then you get some statistic. Okay, so the statistic is not shown here. Okay, next. So here are some other documentation. It's quite long. Beta testing made it simple. So if you look at this one, since we are not doing any app for iOS this semester, just go through some of your FCM classmate, they are doing some AR for iOS. But for you, maybe most of the app web app which is compatible for both version, Android and iOS. Okay, so here you have to find tester. Some are paid, some are free if they invite for free. Maybe the accuracy not so good. If you have some token for them, maybe the accuracy of the result is better. Okay, so usually if you pay somebody to do the test, they will do it. Uh, they will try. They will give you a better result than unpaid tester. Okay, so here, add an internal tester, for example. If your company is big company, you can have a lot of internal tester. But if your company is a small company, then we have to uh, do the external testing. So here it says that you can invite up to 10K external tester. So an email will be sent. The user or the tester will be given with an email and a link that they can click, and then they will start testing the app, and it will be recorded by the system. What are the items clicked by the user? How long? How much time they spend on the certain pages or scene or process? Okay, so those are the reporting under test flight. It is interesting. You can go through all of this. Okay, we are not going through all of that in this session. You go through it through all the video if you have extra time. Okay, so I'm done with some of the testing in iOS. So let's move on to Android. Okay, so Android link is given in the notes. Fundamental of testing Android apps. Okay, so here it will tell you the benefit of testing, what to test. Okay, I already explained in the lecture slide, but again, we have a look. Here are the recommendation by Android themselves. Okay, so what we are going to test, functional. Does the app perform what it's supposed to perform or do what it's supposed to do? Okay, performance. Performance is how quickly it completed the task, the user or the device or the app. Accessibility. Okay, can we access the tool or the app with certain restriction? Okay, accessibility can be can be viewed as we want to test people with different capability, for example. Okay, some people are handicapped. Okay, so that is under accessibility issue. Okay, so if you're not clear about accessibility, you can search accessibility in your phone. So if you search in your phone accessibility, you'll have features like let me look at my phone. You look under setting, search for access. What you get? In my phone, if I click accessibility, okay, I'll get visibility enhancement, hearing enhancement. Okay, those are the tools that help certain people with handicap, either permanent handicap or temporary handicap. Sometimes you are driving, so you cannot focus on the screen. So you need some kind of extra additional accessibility tool that helps you. Okay, so next we have the scope of the test. Again, we have come across this. We have small test, medium test, big test, app test. And then we have instrumented versus local tests. Okay, so instrumented test, you run it on Android device or emulator. What are the emulators? The official emulators, the official emulators for Android is the Android virtual device in Android Studio. So if you haven't tried Android Studio, Android Studio have the official Android emulator. The one that you use for your modded app exercise like BlueStack or Nox Player or any other emulator are the non-official Android emulator. Okay. Okay, example. Mouse not moving. If you have Android Studio, we have the official Android emulator. Okay, it is under devices. Okay, here device manager. If you can see it, let me zoom in. So if you have Android emulator, okay, Android emulator is good, but the official version is this one. The Android Studio have virtual device under the device manager, so you can add your own device. Add a new device, add a virtual device. Okay, you can add, for example, you can add a phone, a tablet, a wearable, Android desktop, Android desktop. Then we have, let me just check what are the latest Android desktop. Is there such thing? Android desktop. Android desktop. Oh, Android desktop is actually connecting your Android to desktop. That is Android desktop. Okay, so we have Android TV, of course, and then Android for cars. Google Play for car, yeah. So here we are more interested on phones, yeah. So there are some popular phone listed, but if you see the list, it's Google Pixel, no other brand. So they are not focusing on other brand. They focus on Google Pixel only. So we have the highest spec is probably this one, Pixel 9 Pro. So you can install this Pixel 9 Pro. Here I already have API 36 phone, okay, which is higher than this. Okay, so you can either install the custom one or you can choose from the list. Or you can customize one new hardware profile. So you can name this, for example, you can name anything. Let's say my phone is, I want to emulate Samsung, for example, Samsung Fold. Okay, device type, it's phone. Screen size, you look at Samsung size. Example. So in your exercise, you have done this prototyping. Okay, so in BlueStack, it's quite limited what you can customize, but here we have the official emulator for Android, so we can customize even the screen size to one version. The latest, I think, 6. Okay. 21601. Okay, so we can customize even the screen sizes. So here, okay, so let me just show you what we can customize in this emulator. So in BlueStack or your favorite emulator, you can't really customize a lot of things. You are limited with a lot of restriction. Here, so here memory, you can specify what are the memory. If it's taking too large, maybe your PC cannot support it. So here Samsung Fold, this is the ratio. Screen size is not 5 inches. 5 inches is the diagonal measurement. So let's say I put, what's the correct size? It's the front screen is 6.3. Oh, I'm putting the front screen. This one is incorrect. Okay. Okay, never mind. This is just a demo. I'm not following the exact measurement. Okay, so here is the unfolded version. 7.6. Okay, 7.6. Right. 7.6. Okay, so that's how you set up the emulation in Android virtual device. Okay, then finish. Okay, so you can set here the API is not correct. Edit. Where's the API? I forgot to scroll down. Okay, so we have other setting, sensors, cameras. Yeah, I can't change the API here. Okay. So this one maybe I just take from the list easier. Okay, so let me select Pixel 8 Pro because I cannot select the API just now. Next. Okay, I can rename this. Okay, this one I can choose the API. Just now I cannot select the API. So the highest is API 36 for Android developer. You can choose other version. If you are using a lower Android, then you can click show all and then choose lower Android. Okay, you finish this, and then once you finish, it will take a few minutes for you to download the operating system, virtual operating system. Then once it's done, you can run the virtual device. Okay, so the virtual device allows you to test any apps. Okay, so here I finish installing, and then I can go to Play Store and install any app. So for BlueStack or any emulator, maybe it have a lot of limitation. You can install this, you can install that, you can set this, set that. Okay, but here in virtual device, Android virtual device, you can do a lot of stuff, like installing any apps from either APK or from the Play Store. Okay, so that's the interesting part of still correcting. So while waiting for the device to run, okay, let's go back to our Android testing. Almost 11. Android. Sometimes I open too many windows. I got the wrong sub window to be shown. Okay, so here, we are almost done. What to test on Android? Okay, so these are some of the recommendations. If you are testing specifically for Android, you can test something like edge cases. Okay, so this one quite technical. Maybe we go for something general, UI and UX tester. Yes. So here, if you are testing for user interface, you can look at interaction in single screen. When the user want to click, navigate, okay, is it okay or not? Then user flow test. If they want to achieve something like buying a stuff, can they navigate easily from beginning until the end of the process, which is getting the receipt of their payment and confirmation. Okay, so other than that, it also have using test double in Android. And then if too technical, maybe we should skip. So these are the test double, fake, mock, stub. Okay, so those are the terminology in technical tests. Okay, sometimes my mouse doesn't want to move like this. Okay, testing strategy, right? Then in the testing strategy, it will recommend to you how to do the test. Okay. So these are all the general recommendation when you want to do mobile testing. Is there an online tool that we can to do some? One of it is Lambdatest. Another one is Selenium. If I need to restart, then you have to wait for me. Okay. Still having problem. Maybe I need to restart my computer. Okay, almost end at 11. Okay, if you search for online mobile app testing, okay, so there are certain cloud services which are very popular for testing, but of course you have to pay for the service. Some of these, oh, am I still connected to Microsoft Teams or not? Okay, disconnected. Okay, am I disconnected or can you still hear me? Okay, let me just summarize. Since my computer is not responding and my mouse also having some problem. Yeah, I'm still online, but here my Microsoft Teams is empty. Okay, so to summarize, let's have a look at the most popular online testing tool. Yeah, of my screen are now blank. Most of my browser are blank right now. Not sure why. Just check my connection speed. Okay, I suspect that my connection is getting slower now. Okay, my next topic is actually a popular mobile testing platform. Last topic before I end up. Still loading. And proceed with this network condition. Okay, so to wrap up, my recommendation is you read something on popular testing tool for app. Okay, so here I have run a query to ChatGPT. What are the most popular mobile app testing tool for Android and iOS? Okay, so I asked ChatGPT what are the most recommended tool. It comes with this result. Appium, Firebase, Test Lab, Browser Stack, and then XCUI Test for Apple, and Espresso for Google. Okay, so these are the key features of testing tool. Okay, of course, we want a platform that can support Android and iOS. So most of the popular one, top 3 here are supporting both OS, except for XCUI test only for iOS. The key features, it's open source. So if it's open source, then probably we can use it for free, unless it is offered by a third party. A third party which use Appium has to pay. Okay, so how does the Appium test look like? It's available in GitHub. It's GitHub is like a server where you can share your code and collaborate with your team. Usually, if it's listed in GitHub, means that we can easily duplicate this project and edit it. If you have a GitHub account, you can sign in, then edit the code, and then try to, it's it require of compilation, you have to compile the code and run it. Okay, so Appium, it is for testing mobile app for both platform. You can get it from GitHub. Okay, so in this platform, for example, Lambdatest is not free. So Lambdatest offer you some guide how to use Appium. Appium can be used for free if you know how to use GitHub and all the technical requirement. But if you are not a technical person, then a third party provider will provide Appium for a certain fee. So this one, if you are not expert in certain technical step, then you can go to a website where they will offer Appium testing for you. Okay, so usually as a developer, you prefer the testing done by your own team, like, rather than hiring an external tester. Lambda, for example, provide testing for a certain amount of fee. Okay, then we have Firebase test lab. So remember in Google Analytics for mobile, last week we have mentioned about Firebase here. So for Firebase, this one in our analytic topic, I've mentioned about Firebase. So Firebase, if you want to monitor certain analytic, is the proper platform to do so, other than your Google Analytics. Usually it's tied up with Google Analytics. Other than that, the purpose is actually for testing. So if you have an account with Google Developer, or with a free account, you can actually explore some of the tool. Okay, so you go to firebase.google.com, then you can do this app checking. Okay, and then get started, and then at certain step, maybe it requires payment. Okay, for example, I have some of my Google Analytics project. Okay, so I can do the testing. Okay, then we can set the variable, set the condition, and then see the result. Okay, I'm not planning to do any test right now. This one is my other project, so I don't want to do the test right now. Okay, so that's response from ChatGPT. If I ask DeepSeek, same question. What question? Compare 5 best mobile app tools recommended by professionals. So some of you prefer other GPT than ChatGPT, so we test the China version DeepSeek. Okay, so DeepSeek come with maybe similar answer. Appium is number 1, Presso, and then XCUI, and Firebase. Okay, so Most of these lists are similar except detox uh, uh, not listed. Detox is not listed in the previous list. Okay, let's have a look at XCUI test. XCUI test. Okay, so XCUI test is under Apple developer website as well. So it have this long documentation of what are the test procedures. Very long. Just go through this quickly. It have test cases, then code testing, and then what else is testing? Most of it are code testing. So if you are a coder, you can use this procedure. Okay, next we have this automation. So you can automate the test. Okay, then it will record the testing result, current record. Yeah. So most of the UI tester, their action are screen recorded and analyzed. Their step, their time, and so on. Same if you use this platform, Lambdatest or other online testing. Okay, they will record the test for you. Okay, so in my previous batch of student, we try some of the free testing platform online. Yeah, and they have to submit the result of their screen recording of the test, mobile app test. So let me just access this whether still working or not. Okay, so if you go to Lambdatest, you just search for Lambdatest. It's not Lambda, Lam. Oh yeah, Lambdatest. Okay, so for the previous semester, we test some of this online mobile testing tool, and they have to submit the screen record. But never mind, this one you don't have to submit. You just test. For example, here you register a Lambdatest account. Okay, then we have real-time testing. Okay, you can choose what Mac OS that you want, and then what browser that you want, and what page that you want to test on. Okay, this one is browser testing on desktop. Okay, we have mobile testing, virtual mobile. Okay, what do you want to test? Okay, let's say you want to test a website. Okay, I want to test MMU website. Sorry to take longer than 11 o'clock, but our class actually supposed to end at 12, right? Okay, let's say I want to run MMU website. This one is not testing an app. This one is testing a URL. Okay, then I choose Android, Google Chrome, and then device. Okay, so this is testing using a mobile device. Okay, let's see. Then run. Start. Okay. Next, we have app testing. So this is not our interest. This one is just testing a website. Our interest is app testing using virtual mobile. Okay, so you can upload your APK file. Okay, so last batch I demonstrated previous batch I demonstrated that we can upload an app, and we can also upload it an iOS IPA, but it must be in the zip file. Okay, so I can upload an IPA file, APK file, then choose per device, and then run it, then get the result. Okay, so for example, this Android, an APK, I choose device. I'm not sure whether the trial version still allow me to run the test or not. Okay, so here I can run the test. So it will emulate. It says that I'm allocated with a cloud machine. So there's allocation for paid user. Free user are given less priority, so you have to wait longer. If you are paid user, you get faster connection. Okay, so these are the result. The app is actually a simple app. Okay, then I can navigate. Okay, the app is already exit. I click the wrong button. This one is the general operating system. The one that we want to test is actually the app. Okay, so here we have app control. Install a new app, and you can give the URL or you can upload. Okay, you can also simulate the location of the app, location of the phone. Okay, here it's locked, but on other tester you can enter any location in the world, and then it will simulate whether your geolocation is working or not. And you can set the network condition. So all of these are premium. Sorry if you can't see. Need to zoom in. So all of these are premium features you have to pay. The free one are quite limited. You can record the session. You can screenshot the session. Okay, so device, nothing much. You can pick the device, you can rotate. So that's about the online testing tool. You get a virtual cloud device, or sometimes they offer you with real device. Okay, but this one is virtual cloud device. Stop recording, all right. Okay, that's about it. I think for the attendance, it's auto recorded. Whoever attended this session, your name will be auto recorded. Just to be safe, I go through the list of name here. The chat. Okay, so for those who already installed the Effect House, we don't have enough time. I will give you a recording of what to explore. Yeah. So in your next face-to-face session, okay, I would like to see some results. Okay, to be fair, it's a really simple AR software. Okay, so not really complicated. I will give you the recording, yeah. So for the practical session, I think if I show the step here, maybe quite challenging for you to follow. Okay, that's all. Thank you very much. If you have question, you can switch on your mic and ask. Otherwise, you may leave the session. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum. You can either use the chat or use the mic.
Sir,
Yes.
so for the assignment